A person in a ranger hat and vest stands at a microphone on the left, addressing an audience seated in chairs under a large tent. A map display stands nearby. An American flag is visible on the right side of the tent.
A little bit about this tent that you are in by the elderly women of the Rocky Boy Reservation. These ladies are each members of the Chippewa Creek Cultural Committee. If you would please help me welcome Louise Stump and the rest of the group to the Tent of Many Voices.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? I'd like to welcome everybody that came for our presentation here today. I was asked a while back to present the significance of the tipi and its construction, but I wanted to give a little background of how I was asked. I'm also a tipi maker, and the tipis that you see out in the camp were constructed by some of our students. We had a total of 20 tents that were made prior to this encampment, and we had a total of 20 students that came and constructed the tipis themselves, and they learned pretty fast. We did that within 2 weeks, and those are some of the tipis that you did set up, that you see set up in the campground. We didn't get some of the students to come in. I guess they had health problems, so forth, and I believe we didn't put up about 6 tipis that we constructed during this workshop. I've been holding tipi making workshops throughout the year. This is about the 3rd one that I've held this year, and sometimes I'm asked to go to other reservations to do the making of the tipis. And how I got the skill that I have in learning how to make tipis comes from a long line of my elderly women. Her mother used to be one of the tipi makers in our family. She showed my mother how to make a tipi and all the things that went along with learning how to make a tipi. So I learned from my mother as well. The very first tipi I constructed was when my parents were away, and they were elected to be on the celebration committee that year. So I knew I had to make something for them so they could have their giveaway, and I wanted to make them a tipi before they came home. They used to go out and travel to the different powwows because they were interested in hand games. And after learning so many times from my mother, I decided.
A person in a tan shirt with a blue pouch stands holding a microphone on a stage. 3 other people sit nearby. Behind them, a backdrop displays text listing various government departments and agencies.
I would construct my first tipi because they were still out traveling and powwow was coming up, and my dad was put on as a camp boss. Like we had a camp boss here. We also did the encampment on the 15th prior to the people coming in here, but some of them were already camped here when we did arrive. And what I told in our first planning meeting was that we would have a traditional encampment take place. A long time ago, our ancestors, when they moved from site to site, they used to have camp criers and scouts that would go ahead and look for a good camping ground. And that's what the significance of that first camping day was to look for a good campsite. And we had a camp crier who was Lloyd Topsky. I don't know if he's here today, but he was our camp crier. And we got ready at the beginning of the gate over there, and we walked in. We were going to have travois, but those horses are modern too. They were skittish. They wouldn't carry our travois, so we banded that idea, and we had riders riding. And we also had the walkers, and then we had Vidal and Ruby lead the group, and we had Vidal waiting over here. And after we arrived here, we smudged ourselves, meaning that you know, when you use sage, seed grass, or cedar. In fact, he used that mixture, and he smudged us all as we were walking in. After we did that, Jason went around blessing the land that we were going to camp on. Those are the things that our ancestors used to do, and I thought it would be a great idea for us to come back and do that. And then we had a little ceremony there where they prayed to bless the land and all the people that were going to be here. And I'm grateful for that. You know, all the campers were all doing fine, and prayers were said for all the families of Rocky Boy. And so that took place, and I'm really glad that happened. And back to how I learned from my mother. I'd made a lot of mistakes. She used to have me rip. And she did hold a class at the college at one time, and that's what they called her, rip, because she'd make all her students rip their tipis until they did it right. There were men in some of those classes, and that's who the ones they were nicknamed her rip. But
a person stands at a microphone wearing a tan shirt and blue belt with a beaded pouch. 3 other people sit nearby on a stage with a banner listing federal agencies. An American flag is visible in the background.
That's how I learned too, by making mistakes and going through it. That's how we teach our young. And when you make a mistake, you know, they don't holler at you. They just tell you, do it over. You got to do it right. And that's how I was raised. I had to do everything right, or else I had to. Even moccasins, when I made moccasins, if I didn't do them right, my grandmother, she'd make me rip them. I'd have to sew them the right way. And that's how we were trained. These are all my aunts up here that are up here. That's my auntie married to my uncle.
A person wearing a tan shirt and blue pouch stands holding a microphone on a stage. They face an audience seated in front of them, with a backdrop displaying text listing various U.S. government departments and agencies.
Over there. And this is Dorothy Small. That's Lydia Chiefstick over there. She's married to my uncle, John Chiefstick. This is Dorothy Small, who was married to my uncle, Andrew Small. And this is Teresa Tindoy. She's my aunt. We're blood relations. My grandmother and her mother were sisters, as well as Ruby's. Pearl is also my auntie from my grandfather's side, Art Rainingbird and John Lilson. Her father is Art Rainingbird, and my grandfather is John Lilson, so she's my auntie. And Ruby Gopher over here is a blood relative. She was also one of the sisters. That was her mother, my grandma's sister. They were all sisters. They used to do crazy things. I just have to tell this one little story about them. One time they were going into town, all 3 sisters. They wanted to go buy donuts at the bakery, and that bakery, they hired a new kid there. The real owner knew my grandmothers. They didn't speak good English. But the first one says, I want 1,000 donuts. And the second one said, I want 2,000 donuts. The third one said, 3,000 donuts. Many grandkids, she said. So this kid that was newly hired really got frustrated and ran back and called his boss. There's ladies here wanting about 6,000 donuts. But anyway, you know, we like to tell jokes. That's the nature of the Chippewa Cree, teasing and joking, telling stories. So I thought I'd throw that in. My mother did a lot for me by teaching me how to construct a teepee, because since then I've been busy sewing and selling teepees. I just sold my teepee here for $650, just the teepee itself, not the poles. I was kind of stingy on my poles. I just bought them. It's hard to get teepee poles up here. But I'm going to let the ladies just tell you the significance of the teepees. You know, every part of the teepee that resembles a woman. But they're going to tell their part, and I don't have to tell that because it's going to come from the elders of what I learned from my mother, my grandparents, and all the other women that I've worked with. It's really, there's a lot of stories I learned from men even. My grandfathers, I got a chance to work with them when they were in the bilingual program and research program in the 70s. They shared a lot of stories with me, even.
A person in a tan shirt and beaded vest stands holding a microphone, speaking to an seated audience of 4 people under a tent. A wooden podium and American flag are visible in the background.
Songs. And when we're done here, we're going to sing a song. It's called the Thankful Song, similar to the one that some of you heard yesterday. But it's the women's version of what we're going to sing when we're done here, talking about the tipi. So first of all, I'd like to introduce Ruby Gopher. She's my auntie, Nigawis. Okay, I guess I have to translate for her. Mm-hmm. Okay. She said, I didn't really learn a lot about the significance of a tipi, but what I did hear, she said, I know that tipi means shelter and protection for our people. When we lived in that tipi, that's what it resembled.
My name is Pearl Whitford. I want to talk about painting the tipi. I was a curiosity kid, which we all do when we were kids. Anyway, my grandma was painting a tipi. Same time I was watching her. She had this green paint. She had it on the ground, spread that canvas. I said, "Welcome, Gigaw-sitain." I said, "Grandma, what are you doing, or what are you making?" She told me, "Ape." She told me to sit down. And she gave me this brush. He said, "Look around. Look around. See, what do you see? What do you see out there? Draw it." I seen that sun. I said, "Grandma, I want the other one." I saw yellow paint. She knew I see something, so I traded her that green paint to a yellow. So I painted a sun. And after I'd done that, she was singing. She said, "Sing with me." And I did. You know, grandchild, he said, things like this is spiritual. Anything that you see out there, the colors of it, day and night and stars, the clouds.
5 people sit on a stage in front of a dark banner listing government departments. One person in a pink shirt holds a microphone. Others wear patterned shirts and lanyards with medals or badges.
The air, the land, anything that you see, even the grass, you sing, you pray to Him. We use a lot of that. The green grass. You said, in your future, my grandchild, said, you're going to be talking. You're going to kind of explain yourself, how you learned this. And I'm not going to go full detail what I was taught. And then she come out. She went to the other tipi. She said, "Wait, sit, don't move, sit there." And I waited for I got done painting the sun. She said, "Wait, up there." I sat there and I was watching her. Here he unbundled her pipe. And she had a rattler. And she, facing that sun, she was singing. Then you sing with me. She said, "I want you to pick up the song." She said, "It's yours. I give you this. It's yours. You earn it. In your future, you're going to use this. As of today, I didn't even try. I'm kind of scared because I got too many kids, too many children, grandchildren. My dad, I talked to my dad about it. Well, don't be afraid, my girl. He said, give it to you. In your future, maybe you'll see something. Maybe you'll have a dream. We'll tell you to do it. Go ahead. It's yours. Don't be afraid, my girl. It's yours. You earned it. Your grandma gave it to you. It's something good for you to keep you protect as a home, like she said, protection. So I'm not going to go full detail, and I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to pass the mic to my cousin Teresa.
My name is Teresa Ten.
A person holding a microphone stands at a table wearing glasses and a white and blue patterned shirt. Another person in a pink shirt sits beside them. Behind them is a dark banner with white text listing various U.S. government departments and agencies.
My name is Teresa Tendoy, and I'm not really a good English speaker here. Maybe I'll be talking like my grandmothers, and that was going to try to buy that donuts. I'm going to talk about this teepee that much as I used to hear, but I'm not going to really come to details about it. But I'm just going to tell a little story what the old ladies used to tell us about this teepee. When they start putting it up, they tie them teepee poles, and they set it the teepee and the pins. And what they used to tell us, this is like a woman. This is their ribs, the teepee poles, in the door when they have a baby birth. And that's what they used to tell us about it. And that teepee means a lot to us. It's like that, the way the old people used to tell us. And these other ladies, maybe they hear some better ones like that, because they had old people too, showing them how the teepee meant to them. So maybe they have better story to tell about it. And them flaps, it's just like the arms, like reaching. That's what they used to tell us. And I'm not going to say really real in details what they used to tell us, that teepee, because that teepee means a lot to us. That's how come I even tell my grandkids that, to respect that. Even some of them teepees, the one she was talking about, them painted teepees, some of them teepees you couldn't just peek out. You have to go in. And don't be coming peeking out, because they're really something to them. That
5 people sit facing forward on a stage. The person second from left holds a microphone and wears a beaded vest with geometric patterns. A backdrop displays text mentioning the Department of Agriculture, Natural Resources, and Indian Affairs. The setting appears to be an indoor conference or presentation.
They used to tell us, even some of that one, my grandfather had one of those left-hand boy. He used to tell his wife to have something ready, tea or something, even bread if they didn't have anything to eat. That teepee meant this, like warriors when they used to go around. He said that teepees, they had, that teepee was painted like that. Horses and the men. And somebody had to eat if they go in there, or even drink tea or something. That's how come they used to tell his wife have everything ready there, even tea. Because long time ago they didn't have all kinds of things to eat, but he said at least have tea and bannock or something to feed the people that comes here. The people didn't go out like that till they have something there. I guess that's what it meant, that teepee there. And that's all I could say, but I'll hand this mic to my...
A person in a blue shirt holds a microphone while seated on stage with 3 other people. Behind them is a dark banner with white text listing various U.S. government departments and services.
My name is Dorothy Small. Can you hear me out there? I'm the one that knows everything. That's all they tell me, but I don't believe it. But I don't know. I don't know how to make a teepee because I was taught how to. They told me to go learn this how to make a teepee. My sister-in-law was sealed, so I went over there trying to learn how to make teepee, and I just make mistakes all the time. Finally, she said, "You're no good." She said, "You can learn nothing." She said, "So just stay over there on one side and sew these things." He said, I can't teach you nothing. You're too old," he said, "to learn anything. So sit over there," he said, "and sew. And don't you speak more while I'm doing all these things." At the same time, she was giving instructions. There were young girls that came up from the school that time. And I don't know how to make a teepee. But the things I'm going to talk about is kind of religious ones, but I'm just going to tell here and there because I wasn't given a tobacco to tell this thing. See, these things that we learned from our grandparents and stuff like that. We had a painted teepee while my grandparents was alive. But us women, we wasn't allowed, us girls, we wasn't allowed to stay in that teepee. That's how sacred that teepee was. It was painted. I'll just tell it briefly. It was painted with a buffalo all around this teepee. The only ones that could stay there was our men folks and our boys that lived there. These girls don't know that story. In fact, if I'd have known I was going to speak for this thing, I would bring that picture where my father, my mother, my grandparents were standing around this teepee for the painted one. They used to tell us, when we're gone, he said, "This is the one that's going to carry you, going to protect you." Especially those 12 pegs all around. He said, each one of those things is going to protect you. Just twice a year, my grandparents used to do it in springtime. So just twice a year they used to do that. And we had that teepee when my grandfather died.
A person in a blue shirt holds a microphone while seated, gesturing with their other hand. Next to them sits another person wearing a colorful beaded vest. Behind them is a banner listing various U.S. government departments.
My uncle was told to put up that teepee after my grandpa died. And my grandma, finally when my grandma died, my uncle still had that teepee. It was all tied up without even telling us what he was going to do, not even to form us, because that teepee was in a good shape. Without telling us about that painted teepee, he put it away someplace. And we was really, the ones who I was growing up, we were sorry he done that because that was supposed to carry us on to protect us. Because that teepee was, my mother's kids was, that was protect them, that teepee. But if you want to learn more about the certain things, because Art Reading Bird told us the different things about each one of those poles represent a different. They have songs, each one of those, the ones that are, sometimes I seen sometimes there's 14, 16 poles, the one that they have. Each one of those got songs. Even those pigs got songs. That's what we was told. So if you want to learn more, you have to go through the ritual way, like myself. I don't smoke, so I prefer candy. And it's really important that, to learn to tell you these kids, if I'd have known this was going to happen today, I could have brought that picture, where the painted stuff that was set up and everything. And to this day, my uncle, I wanted to find out, aren't they making to us that? But I never get to talk to him. When he comes here, he goes to different places. Instead of coming to us, he goes stay someplace else. Now he's getting old over there in Idaho, and I can't even get up there. I can't even hardly get up for Haver. It wasn't for my sister. I'll never see Haver. You know, it's really bad when you're handicapped and to take you any place. Sometimes they're ashamed of me, I guess. The only one who's not really ashamed of me is my sister, Zala, and my son, Junior. They take me all over, even trying to push me off. Even when we go to the store, they put me in one of those, but Woman, I wouldn't let them put me in the wheelchairs in a store always. Because one time they did that, they're bumping everybody out there, so I thought if I heard somebody, I'll get sued. My grandma's Tom, it's really, really important for you, especially you young ones, to learn. Go to
A person in a blue shirt holds a microphone while seated, facing slightly left. To their left sits another person wearing a colorful beaded vest with geometric patterns. Behind them is a dark banner listing multiple U.S. government departments.
Elders take a tobacco or something, so they'll tell you the meaning of the tipi. Each one of those represent different. Each one of them got songs. Like myself, I don't know how to make tipi, but I know what it means. Those things, all those, each one of those poles, even those flaps, everything is spiritual. Kaya sa iskan may kuhan like a mother, he's the sick man, but he's pigi, he's the man that gets there. The one man and yin papum say, no, it's the mark man you gone to sky. I tell him in English and I tell him in Cree what it represents that tipi. Give him in that tipi up, so I spoke your sister about. It will be then give with the mago, and somebody stole it, had it on a yard. Somebody took it to I don't know who. What go Luis keep it with the back? Who knows? You know, some areas you young, we said things to now and here. Get to take a stay, the quits my go who, and so Mr. Giste go into me walk. San is the Giste, Castillo is can here. We are gas. They were all spiritual, and each one of those poles. A four man always man gets getting Yakas gets getting a get there, get among a song. The one my guy is not a muak and net square and a song. The woman make his square happy. Kawai mano guys kan hiba gispin noya. It must make out they get a mutsik man. Get there, get some make his daughter. The one makes the man of especially you boys, you got to tell the other ones that got to carry on with the he got. That's pues ya, and just go to there. My man next to go and pues there, we could talk man to eat me. A guy, like sweaty, and I got the more, I go sky, he's let's man get there. The one makes the Portuguese don't know, he got to I'm with the hobby, look about there. That's all I can say. I want to thank you for coming over here, listening to us.
A person in a tan shirt and beaded necklace holds a microphone while standing and speaking. Another person sits nearby. Behind them is a presentation board labeled of science and what appears to be a classroom or conference setting.
Calling a story about the significance of the tipi. A long time ago, she said, you probably remember the story that our elders used to tell us about the twins when they were born in the tipi, and they were fighting, and a lot of you people probably heard the story. I know we taught it at the schools, and You probably read about it in one of the books told by Walter Denny, the late Walter Denny. He was one of our storytellers, and he used to tell the kids stories. We had a lot of storytellers. My grandfather, Art Rainingbird, they developed a lot of books about our culture, and my father was also involved, and my late uncle, Joe Small, he was involved. A lot of our elders, Jim Denny, Windy Boy, a lot of those elders that have passed on already, they left you a lot of stories that are just sitting on the shelves at Rocky Boy School, just getting dust. While I worked there, I used to read those stories, but I did not understand the significance at the time when I was a young teacher. I didn't really know. But as time went on, then I seen the purpose, because in our life cycle, in our stories of how we came to be, they tell these different stories that she's reminding us of. In that life cycle, when we were first created, that's how come those teepee poles are like that. All of those poles, they have a significance, a spirit in every one of those poles. And the duck is also very familiar in our stories. And I used to always wonder how come those duck stories that we used to read. And now it's all coming together as I'm getting older. Those duck stories that we used to read to you, they were a special part of our life cycle stories. The history of our people. When that first created was born, created from our Mother Earth. Everybody knows that story. We also had more people created, and that's how come they call us Nehiog, and that means 4 bodies. And that's how come we're called, the Crees are called Nehiog, the 4-bodied people. And that story is part of that life cycle.
A person in a tan shirt and blue bag stands at a podium holding a microphone, gesturing while presenting. Behind them is a poster titled Lewis and Clark, A Legacy of Science. Another person sits nearby listening.
Of our people, our history. And when that first created, had a little, they had their firstborn, that first baby. All of the things that hung around in that teepee was really spiritual. They had bags in every one of them. And that first one, that little baby, they asked him, because they loved their kid, the firstborn. They asked their little son, it was a son, I guess. They asked that son, what do you want, baby? Baby Simnan. That's how we say our baby. Ni baby Simnan. Da Simnan. And this little baby, I guess he said, si sipen døy market, vet du, så. Si sipen døy mar, kamet dagi anet, vet du, så. Så cuando usted no moge san man ma pege guan ma takup tanan ma in that teepee. We pespuet sa usted guana. Pendo na ata na pega. Pendun get guan ma that first created teepee. Te guan me petakup takan me api kunakan ma. Te sa si pesek takapeltse go gipti. Eukse. Tande het bueno muteis nan doga kisipuen oktoan umana. Te we muhtaat sega soge ga kikanoem gua kogoge. Kano ehtsigiog. Eugnia sane we kie pahat gute nan do anagi hat. Te we tuhtaat sega si sipsa eugna na gindoi mata naik. Stam gussans kesikata man. One my little stories like that, you know, we remember them, and I'm saying this in Cree, so we're just hitting glimpses of our stories that our elders have passed on to us as young people. And they wrote that book, and I used to wonder, how come they're writing this book about these little ducks. And now I know, because that's a part of our life history. You young people, when you hear those stories, it'll make you think. And we used to have kids write about what they heard in those stories, what they got out of it. And they would write different things, and we used to laugh. There's a lot of teachers here that have retired that we worked at the bilingual school at that time. It was a bilingual school then. But we heard a lot of stories like that. And the significance of this tipi, she wants me to tell you that the frame of that tent, like you heard the other ladies explain to you.
A person in a tan shirt stands at a microphone in front of a poster titled Lewis and Clark, A Legacy of Science. Several audience members sit nearby on a bench, including a person wearing a beaded vest and colorful regalia.
Is like a woman protecting that family that lives there. You see all those poles, those are her ribs, they represent her ribs. And the flaps, like my auntie said, those are like the mother is praying. She's praying, that woman. That's what that represents. Also the tipi poles, we have a certain way that we tie those tipi poles when we erect that tipi. And when you go inside, and if the sun is shining in a way, you could see the formation of an eagle inside that tipi. I don't know if you've ever observed it, but you observe that from now on. If that tipi is tied the correct way, the Cree way, you will see that eagle. And that's a blessing to us, these eagles. When we see an eagle, the first day when we camped here, right after everybody was settled down, everybody got smudged, there was a huge eagle that was flying around. So all the elderly people said, we got a blessing today. And that's what we took it for. The tipi is also very used in other different ways besides the ceremonial way that they were describing. My grandmothers used to have a medicine, katihkapawig is what they called it. It was a black medicine, and that kind of died out on this reservation because my grandmothers passed on, and we as the offsprings failed to learn those ways. Although Merle remembers all the tracks that he made with them as a little boy, where they went and got the roots, the barks. And I have an uncle in Canada that's willing to teach us now, and I'm going to go up there sometime. Whenever he fixes that medicine, he's supposed to call us whenever he's going to make that medicine. And I want to take some of my relatives to go learn that, because I want to carry that on, because it was a great medicine. But what I wanted to tell was the tipi, the women have their own ceremonies too within the Cree tribe. Those days, they used to, Elaine Topsky's grandmother, she used to have a painted tipi. She used to come and set up when these old ladies got done, and she used to have her ceremony. Some people have to have a ceremony, a feast, so she would pick that time to do that.
A person in a tan shirt holds a microphone while standing beside a poster board labeled Lewis and Clark, A Legacy of Science. They gesture with both hands while speaking in front of a white fabric backdrop.
When my grandmothers got done making that medicine, she used to have them set up that tipi, and we'd all go in there. After that medicine was made, they cooked this all day long, and it hardened up. We had to bring our own bags, and these are the bags from the animals, and we dry them up, and we take all of our bags, and then she would fill them up. All those old ladies would fill those bags up. After that ceremony, we'd come out. Before you went out the door of that tipi with your medicine that they gave you, there was, I always remember this this word. I never did try to learn the songs. I was young that time when they used to make this medicine. But before we came out the door, we had to say kanih kaneh kanak. That was our way of thanking, probably, I always figure, the spirits that helped them make this medicine. To this day, I always say that when I'm very thankful, I'll say kanih kaneh kanak. When I'm really thankful, that's what I say. And that's what I'm saying today, too, is that I'm really thankful for this encampment. It was a lot of hard work, but I'm thankful today to see all the people that came out and camped and took part in the activities that we had. So at this time, what I told my aunties is that we're going to sing that thankful song. The women have their own version of singing it, as well as the men. And some of you heard yesterday, Merle Tindoy sang that song, so we're going to sing that too.
Three people sit facing a backdrop labeled Department U.S. Forest Department. The person on the left stands wearing brown and blue clothing. The seated person in the center wears a colorful beaded vest over a blue shirt.
She said, "Where's your drum?" But I don't have a drum. Neat folk. Those of you that know how to sing this song, I'd like to have you get up and sing with us too. Agisemanitu nanas kumatag yay yay hayo yay yay hayo hey hey hayo hayo Agisemanitu nanas kumatag yay yay hayo yay yay hayo hey hey hayo hayo. It always makes me cry to sing that because my dad gave that to all the kids one time that I taught, and he told them, "Those songs are yours. It's everybody that wants to sing that song, and you're thankful." So today, that's what I would like to do. But every time before I start assembling a teepee, I do that too. I pray. My classes, I'll do it by myself. So this last time, I did it in front of the girls I taught. That was how I was taught by my mother to have good thoughts while you're making that teepee, because it resembles the home. A woman is responsible for that home. We have different ceremonies that take place, and even marriages. There's special spots for the parents. The grandparents are over here when they have grandparents. And then the mother is on the right side. The father is on the left side. The grandparents, the men folks, on that left side. Okay, by the doorway is the other set of grandparents. One is sitting on this side, and the other grandpa is sitting on the other side. They protect the home that way, both up here and back here. And the teepee poles, that's what they represent too. Every teepee pole that you see there. There's different animals.
A person in a tan shirt stands at a microphone on the left, speaking. Several people stand nearby on a dirt stage under a large tent, with an American flag visible and a wooden podium behind them.
That are represented by the teepee poles that are in the home. We have 17. If it's a huge one, we have 21. So I'd like to thank you at this time for listening to us in our presentation, and hope that you can get that song. It's yours to use. I'd like to encourage all the young ones to learn that song. Men sing it a little different from the women, as you could see. Any questions? Do you have any questions you wanted to ask?
Years ago, did they take the poles with them or make new ones?
Pardon?
When they would move a teepee years ago, would they take the poles with them or make new ones?
I think they made new ones. I never did really do the history to study how they did it long ago, but what I heard was that they did construct new teepees. You know, we didn't have horses a long time ago. We had dogs, though. They made little travois with what they could travel with, what little they had. But the teepee poles were always cut as new. And when the horse came about, then that's when the travois, the big travois, came about. And I imagine then, too, they took their teepee poles along.
Are there any other questions today? If not, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you ladies for coming out and sharing with us today, sharing your knowledge, sharing your history, your culture. We really appreciate you coming out. If you would all help me thank them for sharing today. And in just a few
A person stands at a wooden podium on a small stage, wearing a light-colored shirt. The setting appears to be indoors with a dark background, suggesting an indoor presentation or speaking event. A person stands at a wooden podium on a small stage, wearing a beaded vest over dark clothing. The background is dark, with minimal visible detail. The image appears to be completely black or not properly loaded, with no visible content, people, objects, or setting to describe. The image is completely black with no visible content, text, or distinguishable features. A completely black or blank frame with no visible content.